Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg made a very public apology Tuesday in the wake of the privacy scandal at the company he created.
Facebook may have mishandled data for more than 50 million users.
Facebook's entire business model is built on harvesting your personal information.
Facebook says around 87 million Facebook users had their information mined.
In April of 2018, information came to light about a staggering amount of Facebook data that was improperly obtained and misused by the British consulting firm Cambridge Analytica. Users were paid to take a psychological test on the application This Is Your Digital Life, created by Alexander Kogan and his company Global Science Research in 2014. This data was then harvested, shared, and used to sway voters' opinions in the 2016 presidential election. The scandal became popular in the news in 2018 because Christopher Wiley, the co-founder of Cambridge Analytica, revealed that the company had intentionally misused user data. He admitted that the information was used to generate political advertisements that would show up on users' Facebook feeds in an attempt to sway their political orientation. Facebook came under fire for allowing such a large data breach. Consequently, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's founder, testified in Congress about privacy concerns and was accused of withholding information regarding the data collection and sharing until it was revealed by the media.
Senator, when we heard back from Cambridge Analytica that they had told us that they weren't using the data and had deleted it, we considered it a closed case. In retrospect, that was clearly a mistake.
The Cambridge Analytica scandal was a pivotal point in shifting the public's understanding of how their personal data can be used without user consent. We conducted a content analysis of two media sources, the New York Times and The Guardian, collecting 25 articles from each sample. The human interest frame, which brings a human face or an emotional angle to the presentation of an event, accounted for 25% of the Guardian sample and 17% of the New York Times sample. This frame was present in 80% of the articles coded in the New York Times sample and 100% of the articles in the Guardian sample. Within the human interest frame, there are two crucial topics: invasion of user privacy and political impacts of data sharing. The New York Times had a greater focus on the topic of user privacy, specifically Zuckerberg's response to privacy issues presented at the congressional hearings. On the other hand, The Guardian was more concerned with data collection's political impacts on society, specifically the threat it presents to democracy. Invasion of user privacy referred to data collection and sharing that takes place unknowingly to the user. Cambridge Analytica collected and used data obtained from users after telling Facebook it had been deleted, and Facebook was criticized for its lack of opt-in consent for data collection.
Senator, in retrospect, I think we clearly view it as a mistake that we didn't inform people, and we did that based on false information that we thought that the case was closed and that the data had been deleted.
The general public is negatively impacted by large tech companies that collect information and make it available to third parties with little to no oversight.
So there was a decision made on that basis not to inform the users, is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay. And
but I, in retrospect, I think that was a mistake, and knowing what we know now, we should have handled a lot of things here differently.
The information that Cambridge Analytica and Facebook collected had important impacts on the U.S. political sphere and can be seen as a threat to democracy.
And that even if you're a skeptic, the potential consequences for the erosion of our democracy is so serious that nonetheless we should take seriously some of the concerns that people have.
Cambridge Analytica assembled psychological voter profiles assessing users and placed personalized advertisements on users' Facebook feeds in order to change their political views or likelihood to vote. These targeted ads encouraged conservative beliefs by showing users more content favoring Trump, particularly aiming to influence swing voters. Users are not sufficiently informed about how targeted political content can be tailored to influence their views. The ways that the articles framed human interest in regards to this issue have larger implications about social media and user privacy. This framing triggers several types of micro-level media effects in viewers. Cognitive media effects manifest in the form of beliefs, attitudes, and emotional effects. Continued discussion of user exploitation urges readers to consider internet privacy as a pertinent issue in our society which needs to be addressed, and to adopt a more critical attitude towards technology companies such as Cambridge Analytica or Facebook.
You have given up so much of your data, and you've become a lot more predictable than you think you are.
Another type of micro-level media effect is the behavioral effect, which is how the media that people are exposed to influence their actions. This manifested in the form of anti-Facebook demonstrations at the Capitol building during the hearings. These protests directly targeted Zuckerberg as protesters filled the Capitol lawn with life-size cutouts wearing t-shirts with the catchphrase, "Fix Fakebook." The media has the power to influence the ways in which society operates through affecting individuals, which could cumulatively amount to larger social change. Framing this event in a negative light brings attention to problematic privacy practices and can ultimately dictate the public's relationship with social media.